When I walked through the door that evening, the house felt wrong. Too quiet. Too clean. My daughter's soft sobs came from the basement steps, small, muffled cries that tore through me like glass. My son sat beside her, holding a half-broken toy car. The walls around them were cold concrete, no sunlight, no warmth, just the echo of betrayal. I didn't ask what happened. I already knew. Upstairs, the laughter told me everything. My parents were cooing over my brother's son, the real grandson, as they called him when they thought I couldn't hear. My mother looked up when I entered. "Oh, you're home early," she said, too cheerful, too rehearsed. "We thought since the house was getting crowded, it made sense to move your kids downstairs. They're young, they'll adapt." Adapt. That word hung in the air like smoke. I glanced down the hallway. My kids' rooms, once filled with drawings, storybooks, and giggles, were stripped bare. Their beds replaced with fresh sheets and toys for my nephew. My brother stood there, smug, holding a beer like he'd earned something. I didn't shout. I didn't even blink. Instead, I smiled. "Pack your bags," I said softly. "We're leaving." My mother frowned. "Don't be dramatic. It's just a room change." But I was already walking away. Because this wasn't about rooms. It was about lines. And they had crossed the last one. There was a time I would have given my life for them. When my wife died 3 years ago, it was my parents who said, "Move in with us. We'll help with the kids." I believed them. They watched my children when I worked double shifts. They cooked, cleaned, played the part of loving grandparents, until my brother lost his job and moved back too. Then, everything changed. Suddenly, he was the golden son again, the one who needed support, who had potential. And my kids? They became background noise in their own home. The small things came first, the forgotten lunches, the missed birthdays, the little jabs about how tired my parents were after watching my kids. I ignored it, told myself they didn't mean it, told myself family always finds balance. I was wrong. 2 weeks before that night, I overheard them. My mother's voice, sharp, whispering behind the kitchen door. "They take up too much space. The other boy needs a proper room." And my father, calm as ever, replied, "Our other grandson deserves the best. He's family." I stood there, coffee mug in hand, pretending to stir sugar that wasn't there. My hands shook, but my face didn't. That's when I decided I'd stop trying to belong in a house that never saw me as part of it. But I wasn't leaving empty-handed. I started with silence, the kind that makes people think you've surrendered. While they laughed upstairs, I made calls, quiet ones, to a realtor, to a lawyer, to a storage company. The house was in my name. They had convinced me to buy it years ago, saying it would be for the family. I handled the mortgage, the taxes, the maintenance. They never saw the paperwork. They never noticed the quiet transfers, the small legal clauses I'd added after my wife died, naming myself sole owner and decision maker. So, while they rearranged my children's lives like furniture, I rearranged theirs. The next morning, I packed what mattered: the kids' clothes, toys, the framed photo of my wife smiling by the sea. Then I called my lawyer again. "Finalize it," I said. By afternoon, the sale was done. A buyer, an investor, had already been waiting. My lawyer handled the rest. I didn't tell my parents. Not until the new owner's car pulled into the driveway 2 days later. They were setting the dinner table when the doorbell rang. My father opened it, confusion spreading across his face as the man in a suit extended his hand. "Pleasure to meet you," the man said. "I'm the new owner. We'll be moving in next week." The silence that followed was pure satisfaction. My mother's voice trembled. "There must be some—" "No mistake," I said, stepping forward. "You wanted space for your favorite grandson. You've got it now." My brother's smirk vanished. My father's face turned pale. "You sold the house?" my mother gasped. I did, I smiled. My kids and I needed to adapt. They stared at me, lost, furious, helpless, and for the first time I saw it clearly, the power shift. The same walls they used to belittle my children now belonged to someone else entirely. And I walked out free. That night, as we settled into our new apartment, my daughter asked softly, "Dad, are we ever going back?" I looked at her, the way her eyes carried both my wife's warmth and my quiet fire, and said, "No, sweetheart, we're moving forward." She smiled then. So did I. I tucked them into their beds, kissed their foreheads, and looked out the window at the city lights. Revenge wasn't about rage. It was about reclaiming peace. And as for them, my parents, my brother, they finally learned what happens when you treat love like calm.